Hello, my name is Jeremy Dearly. I'm a teacher at Henderson Heights in Sunny Slope, Phoenix, Arizona. I am here to introduce a mini-teach outline and overview on the theory nativism. My overview is as nativism is a noun. The nativist theory of language acquisition, primarily associated with Noam Chomsky, proposes that humans are born with the innate ability to learn language, meaning they have a pre-programmed language acquisition device, LAD, in their brains, which allows them to readily acquire the grammatical structures of the language they are exposed to in their environment. Essentially, children are not simply learning language from scratch, but rather activating an inherent capacity to understand and produce language. He's also known as the father of modern linguistics, Noam Chomsky. He's founder of a term universal grammar and transformational generative grammar. A fact about him, he denounced behavioralism, another theory a different group was covering. All it said was he was a hype fella, was arrested a few times in his time alive, it stated. Nativist theories posit that children are born with an innate ability to acquire language and are able to acquire and master the grammar of their native language by the age of 3. So Noam Chomsky is also a pioneer in the field of linguistics, as pioneer and linguistics are some of my key vocabulary. He is credited with developing the nativist theory of language, which argues we all have an innate ability to learn language. So what is the theory of nativism? It's the nativist perspective is a biologically based theory, which argues that humans are pre-programmed with the innate ability to develop language. In other words, Will was born with the ability to develop language. Who is considered a nativist? Nativist is most associated with the work of Jerry Fedor, Noam Chomsky, and Steven Pinker, who argue that we are born with certain cognitive modules, specialized genetically inherited psychological abilities that allow us to learn and acquire certain skills such as language. There's a couple weaknesses of nativist theory, limitations to Chomsky's nativist theory. They internalize rules rather than strings of words. Example, it braked. Mommy goed. Children are not systematically corrected or instructed on language points. Parental corrections are inconsistent or even non-inconsistent. What is an example of a nativist approach? An example of nativist theory can be seen in synaptic structures or word order of sentences. Each language has its own specific word order. Despite having no explicit instruction on the order of words in spoken language, children are still able to master it in just a few years. What is the difference between nativism and learning? According to nativist theory, humans have the innate ability to acquire language, and language is most easily acquired during the critical period in early childhood. Learning theory proposes that language is a learned behavior acquired through operant conditioning, imitation, and practice. So here I'm going to introduce my activity I have. It's involving me as the teacher of Henderson Heights here in Sunny Slope, Phoenix, Arizona. My subject area is elementary education, but the focus is the 3rd grade. Language acquisition theory is my audience. I have Miss Arenda Hill and my other audience member, student Pearson Tahuka. Can I see if you guys are here, please?
Present.
Thank you. Nativist theory of language acquisition, primarily associated with Noam Chomsky, proposes that humans are born with the innate ability to learn language, meaning they have a pre-programmed language acquisition device, in their brains, which allows them to readily acquire the grammatical structures of language they are exposed to in their environment. Essentially, children are not simply learning language through imitation, but are actively utilizing an internal capacity to understand and produce language. Objective. So, they can provide facts, knowledge about Noam Chomsky's nativism, write an entry question to them, an exit question, and add in with a subject or reflection writing assignment. That's our objective. And then the evidence of mastery at the end. Students will submit their 2 answers to the entry and exit question along with a brief reflection writing assessment on the language theory nativism. Summative final assessment. Students will take notes by note-taking, jot down keywords, drawing pictures, and teacher stops of the video and aid key ideas, facts, important information, etc. Jot down main ideas, check for understanding of subject nativism. So here I have some key vocabulary. I have here pioneer, linguistics, innate ability, grammar. So materials are paper, composition, notebooks, loose leaf paper, construction paper, white paper, graphic organizer. Art supplies, glue sticks, scissors, paint brushes, so they could put together a picture of what kind of activity we got going on here. Writing tools, pencils, crayons, colored pencils, markers, and sometimes some pens. And then I have a couple of video links to Theories of Language Development Part 3, Nativism. I connected that link. And then I have an ABC song link as part of my activity, which will connect with my entry question and my exit question along with my reflective question. And it will connect nativism. As opening, state objectives, connect to previous learning and make relevant to life. So today, as my audience, you will answer my entry question and exit question along with writing a reflective paragraph on the language acquisition theory, Noam Chomsky's nativism. The opening set. So, let's think about a time when you heard the ABC song growing up as a kid. Can you guys tell me when that was?
Kindergarten? First grade?
I learned the ABCs watching Sesame Street when I was like 3 years old, 4 years old.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I learned, I can't recall. So, I will ask you guys to discuss in groups, which I have 2. You guys will be my only group. So, I want you guys to discuss how they had learned the ABC song, at what age you learned it, how did you learn it in rhythm and repetition. And then another question, to put is, do you even know the ABC song by heart? Which parent helped you learn, or was it by sound of music, or parents helped you in singing along with you? Is how you guys, learned it. That can go in with your other questions. And then this ties to my opening set entry question and exit question of Noam Chomsky's language acquisition theory, nativism, theories of language development, part 3 in the video. So, the teacher will open and set. Let's think of a time when you heard the ABC song growing up as a kid, which I asked you guys. Then the student will have a group discussion with close-knit groups, table areas, desks by one another for focus and help for each other is in thoughts and input and knowledge, which you guys are closely knit and discusses in the group. Thank you. The pioneer, develop or be the first to use or apply is the definition. Linguistics, the scientific study of language and its structure, including the study of morphology, syntax, phonetics, and semantics. So, in your guys' discussion groups, I would like you guys to add in the 3 songs you learned as a kid. So like nursery songs, ABC songs, innate to be inborn and natural. Share among your fellow students your images drawn of the songs they chose as songs they had learned as a kid growing up. So like you could be in a nursery, draw a picture of yourself in a nursery maybe, and you're learning the song Hush Little Baby, Don't Say a Word, Mama's gonna buy you a mockingbird. Yeah, that's an example. An ability is possession of the means or skill to do something, talent, skill, or proficiency in a particular area. Grammar, the whole system and the structure of a language or of languages in general, usually taken as syntax and morphology, including inflections and sometimes also phonology and semantics. So, I would like to see if we can, share a little bit of what we had in discussion, as in the close-knit groups and of you two. I would see if what songs have you guys learned as a kid? What 3 songs?
I put down ABCs. The teacher used to make us act like we were in a choir, and then I was actually in a choir when I was kindergarten, so they made us sing "Oh Little Town of Bethlehem." That was one of the first songs I ever learned when I was a little kid.
Awesome.
At Christmas time.
That's the first song?
That was one of the first songs I ever learned.
That's cool.
Because I had to do this. I had to be a solo. I had to do a solo, so I had to learn that part.
Yeah.
But yeah. Lots of singing in churches and choirs and stuff.
What are the other 2 songs that you learned as a kid?
The Bunny Foo Song?
Yeah.
That's the one I remember singing. I remember them trying to sing that song. I thought it was, I didn't like it, but I learned that one. And then another one I put down was Down by the Bay, Where the Watermelons Grow.
Okay.
Do y'all remember that song?
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't remember that song? Down by the Bay. I was singing it. Yeah. But yeah. That was one of the songs I learned.
So how about, what was, how did you learn the ABC song?
Oh, in kindergarten, like I said, the teacher made us all sing that song because all the ABCs were on the board, like really big, and whatever your name was, we had to stand underneath there before we left for lunch or before we left for recess or anything like that. And then same thing with learning it. She made us all stand in our letters, but we all had to sing it together.
Oh, awesome.
So that was that.
How about you, Miss Arenda Hill?
What?
Student Arenda Hill?
How did I learn the ABC song?
Yeah.
I learned by watching Sesame Street. Big Bird sang it to us on TV. I remember they would hold up letters. And then my mom would sing it too. And she bought us cards. And we would have to
Oh, and then kind of like learning, like syllables and consonants and stuff. Awesome. So it'd be A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Then I'll lose it after that. But yeah. So, what 3 songs you learned as a kid?
Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star.
I remember learning that. I had a record player. That's how we learned.
A record player?
A mini one, like with the plastic record.
Yeah.
And we had Itsy Bitsy Spider.
Itsy Bitsy Spider. And up the
Water spout.
water spout. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And then the third one? The ABC song? Or you got another one?
Oh, I know.
The Sound of Music.
The Sound of Music.
Do, re, mi, fa,
That
sol,
one?
la,
Yeah,
ti,
okay.
Okay.
The cookie jar. I remember the cookie jar song too.
Oh, yeah.
Who stole the cookie from the cookie
Who
jar?
stole the cookie from
And
the
then you would
cookie
always say your
jar?
name. Then you
Who,
would,
me?
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
you.
yeah.
Could it be?
that one.
Miranda stole the cookie from me.
Yeah, that's what you'd always throw someone underneath the bus. Yeah, you'd always like put someone one of your friends' names or something like that, and then after that you play Heads Up 7 Up.
Would any one of you want to share your notes or your drawings of the songs you had?
Go ahead. I mean,
It don't have to be fully detailed.
I just put a drawing of a native teacher singing it to the songs in ABC in their language, and that's what I got right here.
I could show the camera.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
I'm nothing.
There goes his notes and his thing singing. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing, Mr. Toluca.
Oh, yeah.
Student Toluca. Yeah, would you like to share yours, student Miranda Hill?
Sure.
Miss Hill?
I just took notes as you were talking. I wrote Stars by Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, Itsy Bitsy Spider.
These are the notes on my lesson.
Sesame Street.
Sesame Street.
Big Bird in Yellow.
Thank you. So, thank you for sharing those images with me, class. So, share among one another in their groups their answers to the last question given, which was, recall saying as a kid, song learned as a kid, and phrase said to parents. So, like, this is part of the activity. I was wondering if, so like, you know how all the kids we learn off of, images, and we learn off of, they said that imitation and nativism is not a way of learning. So my thoughts on this was, I was trying to share amongst your groups, if you guys can share of what was your first phrase of, like, like I wanted, Mom, can we go to McDonald's? Or can you guys share of a time when you remember when you first started learning phrases?
Like talking?
Yeah.
I think it's because I remember my brothers always going to the store around the corner and always coming back with stuff, and I always wanted to know what they were doing. I think even one time I took off from my house to go to the store. I think I was like 2 or 3 years old. But I started talking because even the guy, when I was going to go buy something, I don't recall if I had money on me, but I knew I was talking because I crossed the street. I was in my one-piece pajamas, because those were big back in the day. I had one-piece pajamas, and like specifically talking, like I just remember like all my aunties and all my uncles and everyone, they were always like partying around and like talking and stuff like that. So I think I guess when you're a kid, you're always eavesdropping, so you always pick up on words and stuff like that. So I think maybe I was like 3, maybe 4, started speaking.
Did you guys understand how I'm trying to connect this activity to
absolutely.
nativism?
Yeah, absolutely. A kid could definitely relate to this lesson and everything like that, as long as you're
connecting with the natability.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I was just gonna ask you guys to add this to your guys' notebook, a graphic organizer, or some sort, or construction paper. Mm-hmm. We're gonna watch a video here, introduce nativism video. Apparently I can't show it right now, but we're just gonna pretend we're watching this, and while watching the video and thinking about the vocabulary introduced, what are 3 songs you may have learned in the modern day, back in the day, nursery songs you cannot recall learning? If you did not talk about that among your group discussion, draw at least 1 to 3 images of the songs you have chosen, which you guys have did, and spoken, maybe a song learned, which you have did, and maybe you can jot down their phrase, which let's go to McDonald's type of phrase. The one that you guys would use is improper. So I'm going to the middle part. After discussing the groups of vocabulary given and questions, discuss among the respective groups, share what they understood in vocabulary after reading definitions given. So you students will share the extra knowledge learned among your discussion group from one another, possibly out aloud to your class in the direction of a director label. So, share their understanding of language acquisition theory Noam Chomsky produced as nativism. That's my answer question. So, okay, and then what I'm on is trying to. You guys did all the facts, and I introduced all the knowledge of acquisition, the language acquisition theory, nativism. I have the exit question, which is share what they learned in the discussion group that you may have not known before discussion. So you probably didn't know what nativism is. Oh, sorry. But that's my exit question. So I'm going to go and work with the students who may have fallen behind, sidetracked, don't quite understand the subject. If most of the class do not understand the subject area, go over some bullet points, refer back to the entry and exit questions. Help to understand and write out their reflection of a few sentences on the subject being taught. So students will take the extra knowledge given and start answering the 2 entry and exit questions. Thank you for answering those. And then you can share your extra knowledge and facts about the acquisition, language theory, nativism. You can add in what you had. So I'm gonna go down to my exit, my ending. So that's my ending. What I'll be write down your guys' reflection to what you have learned today in my activity, connecting Noam Chomsky's nativism and the ABC song of the innate ability to learn language. So the teacher will share his or 3 songs growing up as a kid and share what age his or her first word was spoken and what phrase was spoken as a kid. For example, let's go to the... So mine was Twinkle Twinkle, you know. I learned a lot of powwow songs. And then I learned a lot of Native American kid songs, the tune. And then I learned how to say "Let's go to Burger King" when I was a kid. And then in groups, students will go back to the same sharing the language learned as a kid through songs. You guys will go do all that, you know, going to McDonald's for fries. You know, all the kids know about that. And then, as we all combine to a class of smart, excelling, and academic students again, how can we help one another understand nativism and our own innate ability to learn and acquire certain skills such as language? Class discussion, asking at least one group member to share what they have learned and gained in knowledge about the language acquisition theory of Noam Chomsky's nativism. Share away with a quick group talk, summary, or discussions among your group. Get ready to respond, which they did. And I thank you for attending my mini-teach lesson on the language acquisition theory, nativism. I hope. Thank you.